Hello, all. Welcome to this session where we are going to talk about one of the latest development that has taken place in the technology sector. We are going to talk about something called artificial intelligence. We are going to understand that what is the difference between artificial intelligence and a yet more promising sector which is developing called data science. Is there actually a difference between the two? What is machine learning? What is deep learning? Where do we find the practical applications of AI as such in our lives? Is AI going to take away our jobs? Is AI the future? Can AI replace human beings? Is it so? Multiple questions we have in our mind, and a lot of jargons are there in the market. The problem is, people at times they use these jargons, but most often they don't realize the basic difference between them. They don't realize that what is the practical application of all these terms that they are basically using. So in today's session, we are primarily going to target this and we are going to understand that how these things are going to impact our present as well as our near future. So basically we'll be talking about what these terms are, what is AI, how is it different from data science, machine learning, is it something out of the box topic, how deep learning is associated with all these things, and other related jargons. We will understand that what is the need for data visualization. Data visualization not only helps you in understanding the problem, but it also helps you in representing the solution that you have come up with for the problem via the art of storytelling. So we will focus on that as well. Then we will understand the current trend of the market and the skills which are required by an individual to bag a job as a data scientist, as an AI developer, as a machine learning engineer, depends. The best part of data science and AI is that here people from technical background as well as people from non-technical background are appearing. They are trying to get into this sector of data science, data analytics, and artificial intelligence. So it's essential that we basically focus on the major skills that are required by them and how can they develop that skills in a stipulated amount of time. Finally, we will also be understanding how deep learning is impacting our lives. And let me tell you guys, all of us, all of us who are a part of this discussion as of now, who are a part of this learning module as of now, are using deep learning to our fullest potential. It is so very much connected to our lives that usually we tend to forget that this is not nothing but the application of deep learning. But that is something which we will try to focus on today. I'll try to bring light on that topic today. Before proceeding, just a quick introduction about myself. I'm currently working as a senior research engineer focused on NLP techniques. What is NLP, you will understand in a while, and then you will better understand my domain of expertise as of now. Currently, I'm also associated with Vepsun Technologies as a senior technical trainer for artificial intelligence and data science. Prior to this, I was working as a data scientist at one of the organizations at Hyderabad. Till date, I have trained around 200 plus students through my community services. My community services include me being a part of Google developers community as a machine learning lead, and I'm also associated with the central government of India, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways specifically, under their program called Indian Road Safety Campaign. I'm assisting the government of India as a computer vision architect, where our main job is to curb down the rate of increasing road accidents with the help of computer vision. Again, what is computer vision? In some time, you will realize. So this is about me, and now, without any ado, let us directly get to business. Now, the first and foremost thing we will be focusing on is what is AI, what is data science, are they having some relationship between them, how are they correlated, all these kind of questions we will try to answer as of now. And then slowly and steadily, we will cover all the required questions that we have been talking about. So basically, when I talk about artificial intelligence is the way how artificially something will have developed intelligence. So let us assume you have a machine or you have a set of programs which operates like that of human beings, which thinks like that of human beings, then we will say that this machine has artificial intelligence. We cannot say it has natural intelligence because natural intelligence is something that we have. We as humans, as animals, as birds, right? As plants, we have, as living organisms, you can say. The intelligence that we possess is human intelligence or natural intelligence, but something which is possessed by a machine which has been given to it artificially, right, is called artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence has two subparts. If I consider the outer circle as AI, then the circle within that, the subset of AI, is machine learning. And the subset of machine learning is called deep learning. Deep learning includes core AI concepts like natural language processing, and it includes computer vision as well. So NLP and computer vision are core integral part of artificial intelligence. Now you might have a question that okay, machine learning is a subset of AI, deep learning is a subset of AI, but where is data science? Because I told you that we are going to develop a relationship between AI and data science. So this is data science. This yellow circle that you see is data science, or it would be better if I say this is data science and data analytics. So this is both DS and DA, data analytics. So before even proceeding ahead, very easily you can see that there is a considerable portion of artificial intelligence which is overlapping with that of data science. It simply means that if you are learning data science, partially you are also going to learn concepts of artificial intelligence. But it's not the end here, because if you look closely, you will realize that there is a major chunk of this circle which is still empty. And this is where we have to focus on what exactly you need to know, something which is apart from AI. So major skills that is required is mathematics. You need to know statistics, because if I talk about data or data science, the core integral idea is data only. And in order to understand, in order to perceive data, you need to be good with statistical concepts. You should have fundamental idea of calculus. You should be good with algebra and some basic idea of probability at times is also essential. This is what you need as far as mathematics is concerned, but the discussion is not yet over. Because you are talking about data science and data is the central figure here, you need to know statistics and other mathematical concepts. You also need to know basics of database management systems. For example, you have MySQL, you have MS Server, you have Oracle, isn't it? So DBMS is also something that you need to focus on. And we need to focus on something called data visualization. If you look closely, you will realize that our discussion is mainly focused on data. We are talking about database management systems, we are talking about data visualization, all these things we are focusing on, right? So it's essential that we first understand that when I say data, what sort of data am I talking about? Before even getting into the application part, we need to understand that when I say data, what all is included within that, right? So let's focus on that as well. When I say data, at times this is a preconceived notion among students that when I say data, they think data means the general Excel sheet, the general CSV file. They are not wrong, but they are not completely right as well. When I say data, I mean CSV file, I mean Excel sheets, but that is not the only thing which I mean. I also mean audio files. I also mean video files. I also mean text files, isn't it? So even now, when we are in this discussion, when we are in this learning session, data is getting generated. Data is getting generated in the form of visuals that you are able to see, in the form of my sound that you can see, right? So these are different forms of data which is getting generated. Data can be generated in JSON form. Let's say you are visiting Flipkart, Amazon, you are visiting Facebook, Instagram, multiple other platforms you are visiting. So over there, the data which gets generated by your clicks is called, or rather is in the form of JSON file. It can be in the form of like different sort of data you can have, which will be in the form of, let's say, XML file also. So different forms of data is there, and we should not constrain ourselves ever with CSV and Excel file only. There are varieties available. We can have more, but I'm restricting myself to these limited options. We can have documents, we can have PDF, everything is data. And when I say data, or rather when I say data science is nothing but utilizing this data for doing what? For decision making. Okay, that is the core integral idea of data science. If you are able to make this data speak for you, if you are able to generate this potential of decision making via data, then you can say that yes, you have successfully implemented something called decision tree, or you are simply able to implement something called data science. So data science is nothing but the way how you can make this data useful for your organization. You can make this data useful for you as an individual as well. And that is why countries like India are the breeding ground of data science and artificial intelligence, because both these sectors need a huge amount of data. They need huge amount of data. And if we are able to deliver that, then obviously we have the potential to generate a lot of beneficial things for us, a lot of beneficial decision making for us, right? So, as far as data science and analytics is concerned, when I talk about data visualization, this is also something which you have to focus on very nicely, and you have certain skills that should be developed. For example, when you talk about data visualization, Tableau and Power BI, these are the topics that we should be good with. Why? Because Tableau and Power BI help you in representing the data in some sort of visual appealing figures. So I told you that data can be used for decision making, and if that is made possible, then we can say that okay, this data has helped me in practicing something called data science. But a general challenge that we usually face with data is that data is in a very raw format. When we get data, the data is in very raw format, and it is important for us to visualize that data. Let me give you an example. Let's say I give you a CSV sheet with 10,000 rows, and I ask you to figure out that which person has the highest salary among all these 10,000 people. It becomes a very tedious task, and it becomes a very challenging task if the size of your data is very huge. If you have 50 rows, even then it is going to take time. But just imagine if you have 10,000 rows, how much time are you going to take to identify these kind of patterns? So that is why when you have numerical form of data, or when you have data in its raw sense, then before decision making, it is important that you actually understand that what is the potential of your data. Sometime back when I started our discussion, I told you that data visualization will not only help you in understanding the problem, it will also help you in explaining the solution that you have prepared for the problem. So basically, when we talk about decision making, that is the final step which is done via data. The important step before decision making is something which we call visualization. Now, for visualization, we have different options available. We can use bar graph, we can use pie chart, we can use histograms, we can use other many options. Like you can have scatter plot, you can have relational plot, you can have box plot, swarm plot, heat map, joint plot, and many more. But the idea is that when you are performing visualization, your benefit is that you will understand how your data is behaving. And once you understand the trend and the pattern of your data with the help of these sort of visualizations, then it becomes easy for you to make use of that data as per your need. This is the idea. Now, when I have talked about data visualization, it is also important for us to understand that what is this art of storytelling. We need to understand that what is this art of storytelling. Now, storytelling is not a skill as such. It is not a skill like Python, it is not a skill like machine learning or deep learning that you can acquire. This art of storytelling is something that you yourself will develop subconsciously without even understanding that you actually have developed it. Storytelling is an art which helps an individual explain the graph or the visualization which is present in front of him or her to the audience. In order to understand this, let me give you an example here. Let's say I'm giving you a graph, I'm drawing a graph in front of you, and let's see how this graph can help us in understanding the art of storytelling. Let us assume this is a graph of time in the x-axis, and on the y-axis I have sales. So this is a graph of sales versus time. Let us assume I have a category which I am representing using my green color, and I have another category, second category, which I am representing in the yellow color. This green line that you see on your screen, or this green graph of my visualization, represents the sales of e-commerce companies. This yellow graph that you see on your screen shows the sales of the grocery stores which are present near your house, the ration shops. So this is nothing but the sales of grocery stores or the physical shops which are present near your house, right? If you realize this, you will understand that let's say this is the month of January 2020, this is February 2020, and this is March 2020, and so on, right? If you realize what I'm trying to explain, you will figure out that for a considerable amount of time, the sales of both your e-com companies like Flipkart, Amazon, all these things, the sales of all these companies as well as the sales of grocery stores were more or less same. There was not much of a difference between the two. What can we decipher from this? We as customers had a lot of flexibility. If we wanted to purchase some commodity from Amazon, we could do that. If we thought that on Amazon I'm not getting much of discount, then probably I'll visit the nearby store which is there and I'll try to bargain and I'll try to get the same commodity at a considerable price. So here till March, or you can say till mid of March, we as individuals had our own flexibility. So the sales of both e-com companies and sales of grocery stores were more or less same. Not much of fluctuations was witnessed. But somewhere in the middle of March, you can say that there was an abrupt increase, an exponential rise in the sales of e-com companies, and there was an exponential decay in the sales of grocery store. Why did this abrupt change happen? If you can recall what happened during 2020 in the month of March, was that it was the time when there was nationwide lockdown. Corona cases were increasing, we had to save ourselves, and the government of India declared a nationwide lockdown at this point. So, at this point, maybe in the third week of March or in the fourth week of March, this is the point where we witnessed lockdown. And because of lockdown, what happened is the grocery stores, the physical shops were all shut down, and we could not actually visit them. We could not visit them. They were shut down, and we as consumers will were actually left with just one alternative, and that was the e-com companies. We could purchase the basic necessities of our daily work also from e-com companies. We did not have flexibility here. We did not have options. Whatever was there available on the e-com company's website, we had to purchase that because the grocery stores, the physical shops, all of them were closed. So that is why in the month of March, mid of March, you will realize that there was this abrupt change because of which, because of nationwide lockdown, the sales of grocery stores started decreasing and they started actually decaying exponentially. Whereas the other alternative which was available for us, the substitute, was only the e-com companies like Amazon, Flipkart, Big Basket and all. So what did we do? We started purchasing commodities from there, and eventually the sales of e-com companies started witnessing a rise in their sales. So this is what this graph actually talks about. And what I have been talking about, what I have been speaking for the past 3, 4, 5 minutes is what storytelling is all about. I have not used any technical terms I have not used any term which you might not have understood. What I have used is just basic plain English to explain you that what this graph actually talks about. This is what storytelling is. Storytelling is nothing different. It is not something that you can acquire, that you can practice and acquire. It will get incorporated within you once you start learning the art of data visualization. And storytelling is something that we will have to develop in order to explain our superiors the effort which we have made in order to solve the given problem statement to us. So I believe this example was clear. The basic fundamental of what data is, how data can be used for decision making, and what sort of visualization I talk about when I say data visualization is clear to us. The core difference between AI, data science, and data analytics is clear to us. The required skill set to get into data science and data analytics is clear to us. In the second part of this discussion, we will focus on AI. We will understand what deep learning actually talks about. We will get into deep learning and we will realize that what deep learning holds for us and what sort of potential it has. We will understand the practical use cases of artificial intelligence and we will realize that how well they are interconnected to our lives. And we will also understand that all these things clubbed together can help us in our present and how can they help us in our near future. So that's it for this particular video. In second part, we will have a continuation from the same discussion. That's it for this one. Thank you all.